We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. It's Monday. We're recording this on Sunday night. Will is back with us. Very opportune time. We're going into a holiday week, a week after a weekend and a week before of a lot of goofy shit. And going into this week, we're going to have to shove a lot of crazy shit. We're going to have to shove 10 pounds of crazy in a 5 pound bag. That's what it's basically going to be.
I mean, it's yeah, basically. Um, wow. I I don't even know where to start with half the shit. Sundays though, Sundays I wake up pissed off. Why do I wake up
Yeah.
pissed off? Because you get the news, you watch the news shows, and the liars come out every day. And the first one I get is Rick Scott lying about healthcare. Now, if you know who Rick Scott is, the senator from Florida, you do know he ran a company that ripped off Medicare for millions.
Billions,
That
I
his
think.
yeah, and his punishment was to get a golden parachute to get out, and then
Yeah.
became was he governor of Florida before
Yeah,
senator?
he might have been governor and now he's
Yeah,
senator. Yeah.
yeah. So basically, like any Republican in Florida, committed crime, become a politician and on the Senate, and he was talking about that health savings account, which is basically some people can do it when you have a base insurance policy. Ladies and gentlemen, they're bullshitting you. That's not going to help you. It's not going to change the rates. Um, and the only thing is, the only reason they did that is because someone sold that to Trump, and now Trump wants his Trump care instead of Obamacare, whatever. I mean, they killed the
Yeah.
ACA, and we're not going to get it back till we get Congress back. It's simple as that. That's
Yeah,
where we're
you're
at right
prob
now.
well, unless the Republicans get a little nervous here going into the midterms, of maybe I think I in my heart of hearts, I think they may extend the subsidies for a year just
Yeah.
to get past the midterms. Donald Trump says he's not going to sign it, but if we get a turnout like we did for the Epstein files, he may not have a say in it. The thing about it is that that vote for the Epstein files was the first time the Republicans have kind of pushed back on Donald Trump and all the threats he's ever made. What happened to any of them? Nothing. So
Nothing.
maybe they've broken the spell at this point.
I'd hope, but I mean, on jumping on that real quick, I mean, the whole thing about Marjorie Taylor Greene and she's leaving Congress, blah, blah. And I'm reading everyone saying, you know, what a heroine she is.
Yeah.
Fucking stop it. Okay, for two reasons. One, if you listen to her beyond Trump and Epstein, she's still the same MAGA crazed conservative she is.
Yeah.
Anti immigration, blah, blah, blah. She's the same person. Okay. I saw a report in the New York Times. Her voters are behind her in Cobb County. Yeah, whatever. It's fucking Rome, Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, no. I mean, cousins, no cousins, if you know what I mean. And if she's thinking she's going to like slide in, I'm going to run for governor. Yeah, about that, Marjorie. The guy that's going to run as a Democrat, which I'm not really thrilled with, was the former lieutenant governor who, at the time of the 2020 election, literally told Trump to go fuck himself while you were pushing the January 6th bullshit.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that won't come up if you faced him. And you thinking you're going to step in front of John Ossoff? You might as well just step in front of a bus
Yeah.
because that's what's going to happen to you. I mean, that's the thing. Republicans are not changed. Okay. And the reason is, you know what their strategy for midterms is going to be, or was going to be, was they were going to tie every Democrat to Zoran Mandami. And they're just, every Democrat is jihadist. Okay. We're just a bunch of fucking communist jihadists, and they want to turn America into New York City. But but that kind of got derailed because Trump fell in love. It
Trump
was
fell in love. Yeah.
it was weird.
It got so
And
bad. It got so bad, that little bromance there that Donald Trump had with Zoran, because Zoran didn't really exchange the favor. In fact, somebody asked him yesterday, "Do you still think Trump's a fascist?" Man, I said what I said. Yeah, he still
Yeah,
is.
Christian
Uh,
Welker, being Christian Welker, trying to catch him. He said, "It is what it is. I'm changing it."
yeah, and the thing about it is that it got so bad that uh, Kim Jong Un posted some jealousy shit. He was so
Oh,
upset about uh, stealing Donald Trump from him.
I mean, God. But and everyone's like, what I love was some of the far leftists, the really out there guys saying, "Yeah, he sold us out now." Mondani's, no, he didn't sell you out. I think he just went in there and was just him,
He didn't do shit.
and didn't do shit other than talk to Trump, and just it worked, and it
He knew
works.
how. He
Go ahead.
knows the kryptonite that Donald Trump has, and that's you flatter him a little bit, and he'll give you whatever he wants. He's doing exactly what Vladimir Putin's doing. Kim Jong
Yeah,
Un has done. Every other dictator has done. He's just doing the same things, and he won that thing. And he fucked up the Republicans in the process
right.
because they don't have a talking point without throwing their Lord and Savior under the bus. It's yeah, Mom Donnie's fine. Donald Trump fucked up the Republican Party, and this
And
is
what's how bad it is that the woman running against Kathy Hochul's opponent is supposedly Elise Stefanik. Okay,
yeah,
Elise Stefanik is worthless. She
yeah,
has no plan for the state of New York. Her plan, and she did this before. She came up with this statement before Mondami met with Trump. Basically, just called him a jihadist, that
right.
he's anti-Jew, all that. She went on this whole disgusting rant that basically fell flat after their meeting, and she was on with who's the lawyer, Chris Hayes, on
Yeah,
what was NBC and MSNBC is now MS Now, and they played her statement, and Christy Hochul just looked at the camera and said, "She's just full of shit." Literally, just said it straight up because Republicans saw what happened on that early this month and the word about affordability and everything. They said, fuck affordability. That's the president's problem. We're going to go right to the culture wars again. That's right. We're going to lean on immigration. All right. We're going to blame immigrants for everything, for the high prices, can't get a job, high rent, all of it. And we're going to go ahead and link everyone to Zoran Mondami because you're all a bunch of fucking communist socialists. But the worst thing about this is that the corporate Democrats jumped on board. You dumb fucks. Just
yeah,
before Mondami met the president, they had some kind of fucked up resolution denouncing socialism. And 86 Democrats put their name on it, including Hakeem Jeffries.
of course.
Okay. Now, I did a video and I'll just reiterate it. You denounce socialism. So that means you denounce Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, VA benefits, roads that were built by the government. You just add it all on. They just did that as a performative, and then Hakeem Jeffries gets pushed back, and his opponent from the primary has all of a sudden stood up and getting higher. And other Democrats are going, no, we don't want to get rid of Jeffries, not this time. No, no, fuck you. Okay, let's tell you how this is going to work. Let's tell you how this is all going to work. We're cleaning house come midterms. It starts in the primaries. If you're a corporate Democrat, you're APAC, fuck you.
I agree.
I want to know it because I know where your money comes from, Jeffries, Schumer. Do you know that they said that I think was it 50% of Congress gets money from APAC, 98% win their freaking their elections. This one this one whatever organization controls everything. They showed a video of this military lady, or this lady in her military, ex-military, wanting to talk to John Fetterman about the Israeli-Palestinian issue. Okay, and they showed a video of Fetterman in his sweatsuit standing there with his Israeli flag, waving it at her, and then he slammed the door in her face. Why? Because he's getting money from AIPAC.
Well,
And
you
it's
said
time to
50%
clean
of the
fucking
people.
house.
You said 50% of the people in Congress are getting AIPAC. It's much higher than that. It's almost
Yeah, I might have
100.
flipped
It's
some
almost
numbers, but
100%. It's
probably.
almost 100%.
And-
No, literally, it is, and it's very pervasive to have one
Yeah.
government, one country, have putting money in the pockets of our entire Congress or the vast majority of the Congress. You know, it's interesting when you look at Marjorie Taylor Greene and Elise Stefanik. These were two people that were in the House of Representatives in pretty safe seats. You know, they didn't have any problem getting reelected, but today we know that Elise Stefanik and Marjorie Taylor Greene are leaving their safe spots where they were making money and doing all kinds of things. They're leaving their safe spots to maybe seek some statewide seats. And that tells you they know what the fuck is coming.
Yep.
They know it's going to be. Marjorie Taylor Greene said as much. The Republicans are going to lose the midterms. So a lot of these people are starting to figure this out. And I wonder if we won't get some other people resigning or retiring.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, too, just to finish the Democratic thought. The reason the corporate Democrats, now this is what they're going to do. They're going to fearmonger. No, you don't want to get rid of Jeffries or Schumer because then, man, if you put a Democratic socialist in there, oh my God, the Republicans will win. They won't.
No.
We saw that.
And the thing about it is, you don't have to put a Democratic socialist in there. That would be Bernie Sanders, but he's the only one. It doesn't have to be a Democratic socialist. It just has to be somebody that's not a Democratic establishment who is sucking up to big corporations. They don't have to be socialist. They just have to be not bought and paid for by oligarchs.
And the one thing I had a live with pretty much the crew. I had Eric, I had TJ, JD Farmer showed up, and we were talking till we got sidetracked for some reason. TJ loves Malort, and I'm still shaken by that. Ugh.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
It's basically a Midwest-based drink that you don't want to taste. Someone described it. If you want to find out what sorrow tastes like, drink Malort, but that's side quest. But
don't know what either of those things are.
Okay, but Eric was talking about the problem of where Democrats are leaning to rural countries, rural areas, and when he says that the problem with Democrats is that they don't talk to people. Okay, they don't talk people. The reason that Zoran Mondani is so successful, he talks to people about things that relate to people. He didn't come up with some things, policies and all. He says, I need to get free transportation for working people in New York so they don't have to worry about this and get to their job. We need to talk about affordable housing because it's too fucking expensive to live in New York. I need to take some regulations off the bodegas because they shouldn't have to compete like that. They need they need relief. These are things that he related to people by talking to them. Okay. And then people go, oh, okay. And when people get pushback, he's able to explain, well, how we're going to do it. And Eric said, well, how do or JD too, how do you explain to farmers? I go, it's simple. It's really simple. If you're running for an area in rural country that's farmers are one thing. The problem is that everyone keeps thinking farmers are some kind of spiritual thing. Okay. You're a farmer. You're something more. No, you're a fucking businessman. This is a business that comes out of the ground. Families did it before. It's about making money to support your family and a profit. Okay. So it's real easy. You're going, I'm a Democrat running for Congress. I'm going to ask you a question, farmers. When Biden was president, did you sell your crops? Did you make money? Don't talk about culture. I don't want to hear about that. Question, did you make money? Yes. When Trump was president before Biden, did you sell your crops? No. You sold your crops under Biden. Now, are you selling your crops or have a market under Trump? No. Okay. Is his tariffs blocking you from selling your goods? Are you going to have to take loans to plant next season? Yes. Okay. What I'm going to do for you is make sure he can't tariff you to death. What I'm going to do for you is help in Congress take back the power so we can get your markets open for you so you can feed your family and feed America. How's that sound to you? That's simple. You
Seems
don't
pretty
talk about
simple.
policy, dude. It's simple. That's all it is.
When my wife tries to explain something to me that I'm not getting, and
Mhm.
only old people will get this reference, she'll say, "Okay, well, let me Dick and Jane it for you."
Yes.
Goes back to the old Dick and Jane books that we read back in the ancient days. And I think when Mom Donnie got elected, I think it was a slap in the face to the Democratic establishment
Right.
because they kept trying to tell us this isn't good, this isn't good, but they voted for it in a big way. And they may be seeing the lights at the end of the tunnel, except they're heading for them.
Right.
When Donald Trump and the Republicans are doing what they're doing now, how stringent and how egregious it is, this makes it prime in 2028 for us to go way left. People are going to be ready for that shit. That's why I said if we have a crisis with healthcare where people we're going to be ripe for universal healthcare.
And
People are going to have a stomach for it now.
well, I'm gonna make it even worse for everybody. In the state of Washington, there is a man who's died of H5N5. What is that? That is bird flu.
Yep.
He raising birds. Apparently, he was able to get the virus transferred to him and mutate it. So bird flu is H5N1, but it's basically just among birds. And apparently, with the migration, they're tracking 86 cases of it in flocks. They're about ready to start mass executions of birds again, which really that's going to really affect the economy. Eggs,
Right.
chicken. That's what happened during the Biden administration when they were trying to control the bird flu. It didn't jump, but it jumped
Yeah.
here. My biggest fear, because right now you have CDC in the area, still what's left of the CDC,
Yeah.
tracking it. 100 people that were exposed to this guy, hoping, praying to literally scientifically praying to God that this thing hasn't gone airborne. Because I want to
Right.
make it clear we have incompetent assholes running the CDC and Human Health and Services. We know who this is. He's a nut. He's crazy. He has no idea.
Right.
If this fucking thing does go viral, this goes into airborne, do you know what the mortality rate is of bird flu?
Well, I know we've got one now and he's dead, so that would be 100%.
Well, if it, on overall, COVID had a mortality rate before vaccine of 33%, 1 in 3. And we lost what, 1 million people, if I'm
Million
correct?
people.
Bird flu has the same mortality as Ebola, 50%
Wow.
mortality. There is no vaccine. You get the bird flu, it's literally rolling the dice. Hopefully you survive. And then we're good. And how do you combat upon pandemic? Well, we did with COVID, masking, separation, looking for the sources, eliminating things. But these assholes aren't smart enough to do it. We
Right.
won't have a Dr. Fauci to save us anymore. We have Dr. Oz. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you're talking about, there are things in the background that could just pop up, and we have a president that lives in a fantasy world, and his people around him are taking advantage of it. And for all the things that are going on, ICE, the economy, one huge bad thing that takes competence to solve, I'll be honest, we're fucked.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
to use a term from when they did the television version of The Last of Us, there's a line in there when the guy was talking about, what happens if, certain fungus, whatever the disease that caused in the end, can you solve it? And he goes, what happened? We lose. We lose. We lose through incompetence. We talked about, I think, before we started, what's going on in Ukraine. That is total incompetence.
Well,
Diplomatically.
that's an absolute embarrassment for people who don't understand what happened. Donald Trump said he would end the war between Ukraine and Russia in 24 hours. It's now been 11, 12 months because he was going to do it before the inauguration. So he was going to end it. That didn't happen. He said, boy, that one's tougher than I thought. Yeah, no shit, motherfucker. So he keeps coming up with these meetings, but he never brings Zelensky and Putin together because Putin
No.
doesn't want to do that. So we hear about this 28-point peace plan that's being sent to Zelensky. And Donald Trump was touting it. Donald Trump said, yeah, this is a good plan. We're going to get this over with. He's got till Thursday to answer it. Otherwise, he can keep fighting if he wants. This is our last shot. So then Marco Rubio, dumb as fuck, is talking to some reps when we start to hear that it's basically a wish list for Vladimir Putin. He gets to keep all the territory. He gets this, he gets that. They never even talked to Zelensky at all about this. And then we find out that Rubio says, "Oh yeah, that wasn't supposed to go out. That was just a list that Vladimir Putin sent us. We weren't involved in it." And then it blows up because you're submitting and touting a list that you weren't even involved in the negotiations. And then they say, well, yeah, we kind of were, but it's embarrassing. It's stupid. And it's not just embarrassing here, but around the world, people are laughing about that.
Let me tell you, because I was looking, doing research, and Reuters had a good article on it. That guy who's apparently the point man, that Witkoff, who's not a diplomat, he's a real estate guy from Florida. Okay.
And he's fucked up before.
Yeah. He is meeting with a gentleman named Dmitriev. Dmitriev is a huge oligarch. He comes up in the Mueller report from the investigation of Russian interference that the Trump campaign was involved in. He has known Donald Trump through, guess the name, Jared Kushner.
Yeah.
The people in the room that came up with these, and Dmitriev's a huge confidant of Putin. It was Dmitriev, it was Kushner, and it was Witkoff who did this plan. It was all they did, okay? Kushner was involved in it. And then so they sent the plan out straight to the president, avoiding Mario, the Secretary of State, Rubio, taking him out of the loop, and went to the president saying, we have an agreement. Okay. That's when Trump laid it out. That's when everyone panicked. There's senators going, what? We didn't know this. Rubio at first, when they got to Rubio, he was like, and then he had to backtrack and said, yes, I was part of it. No, this was all agreed to by these guys. It was all just Putin. And if you read the thing, it's a fucking surrender.
Yeah.
It's a surrender. They keep the land that they took. You give up your army. You just basically just lay there and let them do whatever you want later on. I mean, that's why the G20, do you know we have a G20 summit going on, right, in South Africa?
Yeah. Right.
Do you know why the United States isn't there?
No.
Oh, we're not there because Trump is not going to South Africa because South Africa is committing white genocide. That's the reasoning. No, that's not the real reason. You know what the real reason is? Because the last time you showed up at a summit in Canada, you got embarrassed and ran for your ass. So you don't want to do it again. But that went to the G20 summit, and each one of those, the whole summit signed off on basically saying, no, oh, hell no, we're not supporting this. Europe, all of it. because it's a surrender. Now they're having meetings with Zelensky and Rubio's in it. And he came out, I just saw a video a few minutes ago before we came on, saying, we're making great progress. We're going to make an announcement. That is somewhat Trump speak, because there's no diplomatic speak, for, yeah, we ain't going anywhere. It's a total disaster. And it's, again, incompetence, because you have incompetent people doing shit they shouldn't be doing. Witkoff is not a diplomat. He's a fucking donor that has no idea what's going on. And Jared Kushner is sticking his thumb in there because he's trying to get more money. It's simple as that.
And the fact of the matter is, if you look at that peace plan, as it were, Zelensky was never going to accept that. He'd be crazy to accept that. They're basically acting or hoping that Zelensky will do exactly what they make women do when they abuse them. Just sit there, be quiet, and take it, and we get to do whatever we want. And that's what's frustrating about it. For a guy who said he could end this war with a phone call, it seems like he may have misjudged his capabilities, because he's not even close to ending this fucker.
Because it's more complicated. Everything is more complicated than these assholes believe. That's why in the first Trump administration, you had bureaucrats, even though they were Republicans and conservatives, who were just still amazed at this bullshit. And they really pushed against. Now we don't have that because they fired them all. I mean, they just get rid of them. You say something that's not within the what the president wants to hear, you're out. They just do this all the time. I mean, when we're talking about the strikes in Venezuela, CIA lawyers, they have a legal branch in the CIA to make sure you don't break laws, foreign laws and laws in the United States. That is a real important thing for intelligence, because you can blow yourself up with intelligence. Intelligence people have been telling you can't do this. It's illegal. You don't even know what you're bombing. The lawyers that have said that have been fired or reassigned. That's the way they deal with it. That's the way they deal with it. That's basically, it's incompetence plus we got to make sure the president has his happy bubble. You can't run a country like that. And we're talking about incompetence. We can move on because it's all related. You can move on to the economy. This Sunday was ridiculous. You have the Secretary of Treasury Bissett saying that you want inflation to go down, move to a red state. What the fuck does that mean? You have that little creepy guy that looks like John Wayne Gacy without clown makeup. Hassett, he is creepy, dude. Trust me. He's got that permanent little smile on him. I mean, it's ridiculous. But he's talking about inflation because he goes to, was it Bartimolo, whatever, Maria Bartiromo's show. I know.
Bartiromo, yeah. Maria Bartiromo.
And he's talking about the GDP. He goes, liberals are going to whine because the GDP this quarter is only going to be 1%. And it's because it's 1% because the Democrats shut down the government. One, the Democrats didn't shut down the government because you guys own all three branches. It doesn't work like that. And so you're saying that because you've been cutting government jobs like crazy, you're telling me that because the government shut down, the GDP went down? It's going to be 1%. And then we're going to whine about it because that's what liberals do. Conservatives, suck it up when there's no gross domestic product, when we're not. That's a recession, dumbass. I mean, they sell it like that. And it's stupid.
They do everything like that. They talk about the GDP. Donald Trump continues to tell us prices are going down. And I don't know if you listened to the Mamdani press conference. Donald Trump had the audacity to repeat that story about the Walmart turkey dinner thing and how it's 25% cheaper. Has he not heard that that's been debunked? Apparently not, or apparently he doesn't care.
Hassett in that whole thing about inflation, or Bessett about this whole thing about it, they're still saying that. prices are going down. Your Thanksgiving dinner is going to be cheaper. Let me give you a reality check, fools. Okay, I had to go today to BJ's to return items. Okay, which was not an experience to do before Thanksgiving. Oh God, but because I had delivered 2 packages of ground beef. Okay, $50 worth of ground beef, 10 pounds of ground beef. So not 10. It was $49. It was $9 a fucking pound. Okay. Got it. Put it in the fridge. My wife went to put it in the freezer. She goes, "You got to look at this." I open it up. The meat turned gray in one day
Oh, well.
in the fridge. I'm like, going, "Oh, hell no." So I took it over there. I delivered it. But the hamburger meat at BJ's is $8.83 a pound. I was
Yeah.
looking at it at Publix. It's $9.93 a pound. This is ground beef. Ground beef is always the one thing that's cheapest when you don't have that much money because you make more meals on it. It's as expensive as getting a fucking steak because a
Yeah. I mean,
ribeye will be about $14 a pound. Might as well get the
right.
ribeye,
Yeah, you
$5.
might as well. I mean, going to get hamburger, I think when it's normally priced, I was paying like 3.99 a pound,
Yeah.
maybe 4.99 a pound, and now it's ridiculous. I want to ask you this in terms of prices. One of the things Donald Trump said, energy prices will be cut in half as soon as I become president. Now I want to. Now you live in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I have a place in Georgia, and I've noticed something about the electricity. Last year, when I had to pay the flat rate, just the budget thing, you pay
Right.
the flat rate, I was paying $68 a month, which to me seems like a lot since I'm not there very often, not even
Makes
using
sense.
electricity
Mm-hmm.
except for a refrigerator and, whatever else, or heat or air conditioning. And I had it set so it's not a big deal. But my point is when they came back this year, and they said, okay, your monthly flat rate will now be $172 a month. Now, understand, I have a one-bedroom condo that's about 750 square feet, okay? One bedroom condo, nothing fancy, nothing big. And I haven't been there in fucking 3 months. How is that?
Yeah.
I can't imagine what your electric is going up to because you have a
I mean,
house.
yeah, I have a house. It's pretty steady. But it's a weird thing for me is like I'm from Southern California originally.
Yeah.
So when I see these bills, so my last one was let's do $385.
That's
Okay.
crazy for
Well, I mean,
electric.
yeah, for electric, but again, everything's electric. But for me, trust me, when I lived in Southern California Edison, we're going, yeah, that's about right. So I come from a different world, even my wife, but it has gone up, and
I
part
mean,
of it
mine's
is
more than doubled.
right.
And I
Yeah,
don't even use it that much. How's
and
that
that's
possible?
because some of the things that Trump disconnected from Biden's first economics bill that's coming back to roost. Also, the other things that these assholes were talking about today. First of all, going back to Hassett, they keep talking about, and Bassett too, next year we're going to have this influx of manufacturing. All these factories will come online. There is no building going on. You know what they're talking about, right? AI data centers.
Yeah.
They have sold this bullshit of these AI data centers. Now they're huge. They need them for the processing. Okay. They suck electricity.
Yeah.
Literally. It's literally just opening up. It's like opening the bottom of a pool and just letting it keep going and just pouring water in without it filling up. And this is supposed to save the economy. It's not because it's going to cost people jobs. It's already costing people jobs. All right. Hell, I don't know how long I'm going to have a job with AI the way it is. But they talk about that like it's a done deal. We're going to have millions of investment in manufacturers. Going to be jobs. There's not going to be any jobs because it replaces jobs, and it gets
Yeah.
worse because again, Bissett was on face. Was he facing? No, he's on Meet the Press, and he asked him about. You said there's recession. Yeah, there's recession in some places, especially housing. Okay, there's a house because they can't build. How can you not build? Well, maybe because people are losing their jobs, foreclosures
Tariff
are
in
up,
Canada, we can't get wood.
wood. Also, you're kind of getting rid of the workforce through immigration.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, he won't bring it up, but you know when he brought up? He brought up, let's see, how did he say it? He twisted over to, he said something about, oh yeah, everything's fine because we're still trying to fix Biden and stuff. Oh, by the way, prices are down for Thanksgiving. And he repeated the Thanksgiving thing. And I'm thinking, what the fuck does that have to do with housing? These guys are just gaslighting us left and right, left and right. And a lot of people are buying it. And then to top it all off, Department of Homeland Security put on their whatever website, they go, it just reads, rent's too high. There's thousands of illegals in the United States. You can't get a job. Thousands of illegals in the United States. Women don't feel safe. Thousands of illegals in the United States. They're blaming Christy Home. No one came out. The reason prices are high is because of illegal aliens. The reason that you can't get a job is because of illegal aliens. And I see this all the time when they do these videos of ICE raids. I see this all the time in the comments. Okay, there was one person who did a video showing Walmart's empty in Charlotte. They shut down. There's no one here. That means that all these illegals are gone away. That's why they're in the way of everyone. First of all, Walmart does not want to have an empty store.
No,
They don't. That doesn't mean anything. And your guys are
that's
proud of
bad
it.
news.
It's bad news. And the thing about it that really would really just smoke me this morning was that ICE is out of its fucking mind and out of control. I mean, there's already videos of 16-year-olds being picked up, breaking into houses for the wrong places without warrants. There's no warrant. You just break in. You know nothing. You broke into Queens to a woman. They're looking for her cousin. Has been there for 5 years. Broke in the house. Just got her kids in there, and they want to drag them all out. It's just this is what we have, and the worst thing about it is you see these agents. They're all fucking white supremacists, and that includes the black and Latino agents. You're a fucking white supremacist, okay? You're committing ethnic cleansing, and I love this video. This guy was, I guess, in Charlotte. They were using an industrial area for detention. They empty one of those, places where they use sell for shops and all that, or manufacturing,
Yeah.
small manufacturing. I like this vet was just taking pictures on it, and he shows this guy. he was brutal. He was yelling at everyone out there. Everything showed up like the agents were leaving. But he showed this guy who had to be 5'11", 360 easy. Okay.
So he
But,
works out.
yeah,
So
he
he
really
works
works
out
out. Yeah.
at
And
the
he goes,
buffet.
yeah. And the guy goes, he goes, you're all traitors. He goes, except for you, you fat fuck. Why don't you eat a salad? But you can see they're all white supremacists. The beards, the whole thing. They hired every white supremacist, and they don't care. If you're
Yeah.
brown, you go down. It's all that. And they keep insisting that they're getting the worst criminals. When they are even arrest people, they know it's wrong. They say they're part of human trafficking or they assaulted an officer. Why they release them later? This
Yeah.
is,
Exactly.
and the problem is that people still are not saying enough about it. Because we have people in concentration camps right now in America,
Essentially, yeah.
being paid by taxpayers to private companies making money. But no one says anything. It's still quiet out of Congress.
It's
Very
funny.
quiet.
You've often brought up how this all ends up, where a lot of these people, ICE, Doge. There's even some people in Doge that are now a little concerned about retribution when Donald Trump is gone. But you always bring up Nuremberg. And
Mhm.
I mentioned on a previous podcast that my wife
Yeah,
and
you
I went
saw
and
it.
saw. We
Mhm.
went
How
and
is it?
saw the movie. It was awesome. It was a great movie. I would recommend anybody to see it. But what's so terrifying about it is there's some very close parallels to those Nazi Germans to what Donald Trump's administration is doing now. Yeah, I talked about uh, Hermann Goring, number two guy with the
Hmm.
Nazis. He was played by Russell Crowe, did a great job, but he was determined to be a narcissist. And you sit and you watch Herman Goring in this particular movie, and you go, that is Donald Trump, but with a lot more intelligence, which is even scarier.
Yep.
Um, but he behaved just like Donald Trump. And there are so many parallels. And if you watch that, you'll learn some things about Nuremberg. I thought I knew everything about it. I didn't. I learned a lot about it. But at the same time, you can see the parallels, and it's got to terrify anybody that understands the ramifications of putting somebody like that in power.
Yeah, and we did. And the thing about it is that Republicans now, because they're desperate, because the economy's falling apart, economics, tariffs are costing their people money. The Medicaid is going, SNAP was interrupted. Is that now I remember what Bissett was saying. The reason that housing prices housing is in recession is because of the holiday travel, because Democrats shut the government down and they had to cancel 3,500 flights. And I'm listening to that going, what? And it's just word salad. It's all word salad. They just try to think, but the thing about Trump is that we're lucky, like you said, Herman Goring was smart. Most of those people around him were smart,
He
evil
was
but fucking
mentally ill,
smart.
but he was smart.
Yeah, he's smart. Um, but the people around Trump and Trump himself aren't that bright. Russ Vought might be close, but he's such a fanatic. He keeps pushing too hard. They haven't done it subtly. A lot of people
Yeah.
are talking about like the Project 2025. They're so desperate to get their Christian nationalist, to get their, white supremacy government under their version of Christianity, then instead of little by little by little, they went ahead and pushed it all the way through. And then you
Yeah.
pushed hard. And the problem with Americans is that they can smell a rat, especially when the rat's right in front of them. And we are smelling it and it's too big. You could have fed it a little at a time, but you came out with Doge. By the way, Doge is dead.
Yeah.
Did you see
Doge
that
is done
tonight?
now.
Doge has been eliminated. For what? I mean, it did its job. It decimated the federal government. It decimated the federal government. It's going to take us decades to rebuild what they did. They
Yeah.
crushed it. Um, for
And
what? There was no
hopefully,
savings. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
and hopefully there will be some retribution and some accountability.
Oh,
These people are fearful of it now. They're checking. Do you think we could be in trouble? Do you think this will come back to haunt us? Yeah, it's going to
it
come back
will
to haunt you
eventually
with prejudice, and
with
it's going
prejudice.
to be bad. It's going to be bad. Now, when we talk here, we talk about a lot of doom and gloom type stuff of all the negative
Right.
things going on. The one thing I'm getting a sense of, especially this past week with all the fuck ups and Donald Trump going on unhinged on the six veterans that are members of
Oh,
Congress
good
and that
Lord.
fuck up and calling the reporter Miss Piggy. I feel like we are at a point now where the wheels are coming off the bus and people are waking up. Those people that haven't been able to wake up until now. I think the Republican Party. I know Donald Trump is in trouble right now. Nothing's working for him and things are going badly. So, what that tells me is we're going to go through a period that's probably worse than what we're dealing with now. But the upside is that means the end could be near.
It's yeah, because it's a lot of the stuff you're seeing, like the ICE uptick, doing stuff that
Yeah.
they shouldn't have done. It again, that thing that's coming to bite in the ass. The reaction in Charlotte surprised them. They did not
Yeah.
expect that. They've been in Georgia, and Georgia's kind of cooperative, which bothers me about my neighbors. But in Charlotte, they just came out in force. It was, I mean, I know people got arrested, but those guys left. They left. They
Yeah.
left in tatters. Um, the open going into an open carry state was not smart. at
No.
all. I mean, I've seen the videos of these guys. It literally was a Western because there was one guy videotaping him and he's open carry. And the officer's going, he has his hand on his gun. The guy goes, "Why do you have a gun?" He goes, "Because it's an open carry state and it's stand my ground. And I suggest you take your hand off your weapon." And the guy goes, "I don't." He goes, "Take your hand off your weapon because I will stand my ground." There's the video of the 79-year-old woman coming out with her safety, which basically was her weapon because the guys were trying to hang Christmas lights, and she told him, "Why are you on my property? Get off my property." And she had a weapon. So I mean, they found out real quick that ain't hanging. Now they're going into New Orleans. Now the problem with New Orleans is, the state legislature and the governor, who is worse than Trump. That man is bad. He's a Christian nationalist. He is a bad person. They passed through their House and Senate and run law. The things that they were doing in Charlotte, they said that's illegal. And if you interfere with ICE, you'll go to jail. Now, the only thing is that, okay, good. Things can be done behind the shadows. Good luck. I have one word for all you, and you may not believe this. People may not. Okay. And people were saying a lot of things that a lot of ice ages went into the woods in Appalachia and they got a little creeped. For when I heard of it, you don't go into Appalachian woods at night.
No.
You don't. And the thing about people make fun of that, but you don't know. Because the Indians or the Native Americans had a lot of stories about the forest, stories about the lakes. And people will go, "Yeah, that's really? You think?" So let's go down to New Orleans. Okay. Voodoo is a religion.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay. And if you don't think that there's a lot of things they try to do that's going to blow back on them, it's not a good thing. You don't disturb spirits of certain things.
Well, and it's a red state too. I mean, these people aren't going to cotton to people stomping on their toes, even if it is to get the brown people out. They're going to cause some inconvenience or some problems for the regular white folks down in Louisiana.
Well,
and
also,
they aren't going to be happy about it.
It's not just brown folk. You got Haitians.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Creole. I mean, this is going to be not a good idea. But then again, it's Kristi Noem. She's nothing but bad ideas. And again, it's all about incompetence. This is just look at what we're doing. We're lucky that the head of everything is incompetent because, like you said, with Nuremberg, there's parallels, but you have incompetent assholes running it. Okay.
Yeah.
The Germans were successful because they had some smart people and they were able to manipulate it. Okay.
Right.
That's why at the end, when things started to fall apart, people tried to hide it because they knew they fucked up.
Yeah.
They knew they messed up. Here, it's like we're still only have 30% of the people that are devoted to this shit. Now we're finding out that all the influencers on X, the majority of them are from foreign countries.
Yeah, that's pretty telling.
Even the American so-called MAGA influencer going, what the hell is this? Because they are not happy. That means...
Well, yeah, and I don't know, did Elon do that on purpose or did he just fuck up himself? Basically, what happened on Twitter and on X, he set up another feature on Twitter or X where you could see this country of origin, whoever was posting. I thought maybe he was going to try to expose the Democrats and all their bots. But it turns out that a lot of these MAGA people, America first, and they're from the fucking Sudan or from Russia or from some other country.
Nigeria.
And that was very telling. Nigeria, yeah. That's very telling when you see this many people with the red, white, and blue and Donald Trump's face or America first, and it's coming from a foreign country. You got to wonder, they can't be serious, can they? They're just getting paid to do this. And that says a lot about, the things we experience on TikTok and Twitter and whatever. uh, we're getting attacks from people who don't even have a
or
dog in the fight.
or may not even be people.
Right.
AI programming, easy
Exactly.
right now, and their influence. And one creator made a good comment. This is why when we have protests like No Kings and all that, you don't see that much of a MAGA presence
Right.
because there are not that many. And all those people screaming, you see, screaming loud on social media don't exist. That's why it
Right.
seems louder, it seems bigger. I mean, trust me, there's still a problem with the mass media because they are still complicit in all this shit.
Oh, they
Understand?
get worse and worse every day.
Yeah, they're getting close to buying Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is for sale. And Paramount, who's owned by Skydance, we know what that is, basically is looking to buy Warner Brothers because they want to get a hold of CNN
Yeah.
and take it apart like they took about CBS News. All right. And the other bidder is Netflix. You better hope Netflix buys that. Netflix is run by someone who's somewhat of I want to use the liberal, but as liberal as you can for being rich.
They don't have to
But
be liberal. They just have to be normal.
right. And so they're in a bid for Netflix for Warner Brothers. But that's the way there's still that propaganda arms going on. But the propaganda arms seem to be failing too because you can't sell your bullshit. The
Right.
culture war bullshit is not selling very well right now. It's
I
not.
think pe- I think people are pretty tired of it. And the fact of the matter is at this point, I don't think there's very much in mainstream media that you can trust. We're getting the millennials and the Gen Zs coming of age, and they don't watch network television. They don't watch mainstream media. You guys go ahead and spend billions of dollars buying this shit because I guarantee in 5 years you will have lost all your money. Nobody's going to be watching that shit if you continue to try to troll out lies and gaslighting.
Yeah, and the thing about it is like what's going on with the Washington Post. It's getting worse.
Yeah,
They had an op-ed basically from the editorial board saying no, we shouldn't release the Epstein files. Literally did that.
wow,
Jeff Bezos has been approached by J.D. Vance to get rid of the editor in chief of the Washington Post and replace him with the editor in chief of Breitbart.
right.
Okay, J.D. Vance is making moves to power. I don't know how it's going to help him because no one likes him.
When it comes
Um,
to when you say politics and power and uh, and JD Vance, I get kind of a Barney Fife vibe. I don't think
yeah,
he has the ability to express any power. He's not well liked. You know, him becoming president would be a joke for this country to have a president like that, but we're already a joke, so what the fuck?
and the thing about him too is like there's no presence.
No.
JD Vance does not have a presence. And that's a weird thing, but even in you got to have a presence to present yourself. He is you can tell there's something off about him that he'll do what he's been told. For all the evil that is Trump, for all the things he's trying, there's a presence.
Yeah.
He is Donald Trump. And
Right.
I have to acknowledge it. We have to acknowledge that
Yeah.
because he's sold that for all his life and people buy into it. He's at the end of it. You can see his power starting to fade. I think a lot of it is his health and his mental state. Michael Cohen had a decent article for once on Substack because he was in the inner circle. The idea with Trump, you have to give him the bubble. You have to get everything's golden. That's why
Yeah.
he says these things he does about the economy because no one is telling him the truth. They
And he
won't.
can't read, so
Yeah, and so he takes it from everyone else. But that being said, even now, even with him, with Mondani, the meeting with Mondani, there was still a presence of Trump that his word mattered, that
yeah.
him literally endorsing a man he called his enemy still worked and freaked everyone out who's trying to trying to show him as something else, but Trump likes him. What do we do now? Trump likes him. That matters still. That matters still. Even in the end of his power, it still matters. So let's just talk about JD Vance. He can't do that. He
No,
can't.
he doesn't have that kind. He doesn't command that much respect or credibility. No, he has nothing.
And look at, like, Biden had presence.
Yeah.
Even in his own way. Well, Obama, obviously. And look
Anybody
at the people
that's a president of the United States should have some kind of presence, and most all do. You may not like it, you may not agree with it, but they were there and they appeared to be in control.
I mean, like, Gavin Newsom has presence.
Yeah.
But you see these people when they talk and there's a presence to them that you can latch onto, for good or for ill.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. People around JD Vance are trying to groom him because they know the end is near, either politically, physically. But they're going to find out that once he steps in there, because everyone keeps talking about an impeachment. What they fucking do? Impeach him. What do you get? You get chaos. Don't impeach Donald Trump. Let me make this clear, okay? Don't go for an impeachment. What you need to do is throw in stuff to like what the Epstein thing did, stuff that makes them nervous and upsets their apple cart. That's more important than impeachment, because what impeachment does, you make a martyr out of them. You do.
Right.
You make a martyr out of them. It's dumb. At this point, it doesn't make sense. It made sense on January 6th to end his political career, but no one went along with it. Now it's like, so what? It won't make a difference.
Here's the thing. Impeachment isn't up to the Democrats. It's not up to the Democrats.
No.
The only way he gets impeached is if the Republicans decide to do it, and we would have no say about that. But the reason they would want to maybe do it is because of just the shit show, and that there seems to be no hope for the midterms, the economy, and Donald Trump's fuck ups, and threatening people with hanging and shit like this. At some point, the Republicans have to go, Jesus Christ, enough. And they could impeach him at some point. They definitely could do that.
I'm going to say something that's not popular. That whole thing about when they did the PSA, which was a fine PSA.
Yeah. And it was accurate.
It was accurate. The worst thing that Democrats did, that pissed them off. That pissed them off. Okay. And they went freaky crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Trump went freaky crazy. The right wing went freaky crazy. All you had to do, instead of what I hated about that was, all I would have said was, I stand by my words and not anything else. Do not go there and say, well, Republicans should condemn what the president said about hanging. No, because you just bought into their bullshit. All you had to do was stand by your words. You know, Aaron Parnas, God love him, he was saying that, well, I don't want him to get away with it. Dude, they've been saying this shit for 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, for 12 years. It upset them. Take the win. Because we know, because my view is simple. He can threaten unless he's going to grab Mark Andrews. I'm sorry, who's the senator from Arizona? Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly. Grab him out of his office, take him to the Capitol steps and summary execute him, then I wouldn't worry about it.
Well, now, here's the
that's
the thing
extreme, but it's true. I'm sorry, go ahead.
We've had so many things that go against Donald Trump. To think that one thing is going to take down Donald Trump is a little ridiculous. So if you know that, then what it means is you've got to inundate him with things, overwhelm him. Epstein files, to stupid comments, to calling the reporter piggy, keep piling that on. And you won't be able to take him down, but ultimately he will take himself down because he will implode and fuck up.
And the reacting the way they did, with how could he say that? I just said, yeah, but I stand by my words. Because the worst thing about a bullying, you know that, and narcissist, is you look at him and go, don't care what you say. Oh, hell no. They go, oh, no, you will. No, it's just stupid. and it don't matter. That's
They
the
want
worst
to
thing you could
incite
do
you.
to them. Yeah.
They want to incite you. They want you to yell and scream at them. The situation I had with a family member that he was enraged. He was fighting with me about Donald Trump, and I just stood there and he said, "You said this," and I said, "Yep,
Yeah.
I did. I did say it. I stand by it." And you don't allow them. You don't get caught up in their games. Donald Trump loves to get people worked up. So if you don't get worked up, then you're at least fighting against him in maybe a passive aggressive way, but fighting nonetheless. And
Right.
and and every time Donald Trump says something, people get all excited like it's an absolute fact or it's the gospel.
Yeah.
99% of the time, a fucker's lying.
Right.
Why are you getting upset about it? I
I
mean, if
mean,
you're upset about how Donald Trump behaves, little late 10 years later.
and like he had, I guess someone put an AI picture of him sitting on a throne and the senators that spoken kneeling before him. Who cares? I mean, that's just okay. And it still doesn't matter. Constitution is the Constitution, and you can, under the Military Code of Justice, not follow illegal orders. Saw Byron Donaldson, Florida. You know, the guy who thought he was going to be part of the administration, but forgot he was black. So that ain't happening. Um, on the steps, going, no, it's sedition. You can't talk like that. And military members are going, shut the fuck up. It is what it is. And that was a warning, because why is they all upset? Because they're getting pushed back in the military about the Venezuelan thing.
Absolutely.
You know it. I know it. There's got to be that. There's pushback going down there because they don't want to go to war. Because let me make this clear, okay? And I did a video on it because it's pretty succinct, all right? They're talking about regime change. Yeah, I heard that shit before in
Yeah.
Iraq, in Afghanistan, okay? What you forget is you can't just kick one thing out and put it back, put something else in, because the people that got kicked out are going to fight. And
Yeah.
what do you end up with? Another green zone, more American troops to keep peace. Fuck, we lived through Vietnam. It was the same fucking thing. Okay?
Yeah.
You can't do that. It cost American lives. And they're selling this. It's just a regime change. Everything will be okay once we. No, no, it won't. It doesn't work like that. And I'm telling you, people in the military, CIA, DIA, true people are pushing hard back, because right now everyone thinks this is all we're it's fun playing with the toys, Pete Hesgeth.
Yeah.
But the problem is, once you have American soldiers coming back in coffins for stuff like that because they ran over an IED again, trust me, it's not going to work. And there's the investment, billions of dollars of investment. Again, this is not a game. And that's what I'm saying.
Well,
They think this is some kind of game, Call of Duty. It's not a game. And there are military, even all the generals that you've gotten rid of, there's still pushback. That's why that order thing hit hard.
well,
That's why they freaked out.
that's what I was talking about with the Epstein files. Are they going to come out? If they come out, are they going to be redacted? If they come out, are they going to be missing pieces or whatever? And all those things are possible. He's kind of in a corner now. If these Epstein files are to be released or started to be released in 30 days or less than 30 days now, people are worried about how they're going to come out and if we're going to get all the facts. I'll be honest with you. I think there's so much dissension in the DOJ and the FBI, not with the higher ups, but with the rank and file folks. They are getting frustrated. They're seeing how bad this is. This is their careers. And the Trump administration is about the leakiest administration we've ever had. And the thing that people fear the most is that the story where Donald Trump had 1,000 FBI employees go through those files, okay, and redact his
Mhm.
name allegedly. Uh, but when you have that much dissension inside something, and it looks like he may try to get away with something or whatever, You can't possibly tell me that all these 1,000 people that saw every bit of the files, unredacted, they saw every bit of it. You can't tell me that all 1,000 of them are loyal and in on the game with Donald
Right.
Trump. There are people that are going to be pissed. And if I'm looking at those files, I'm putting a few things in my back pocket just in case I need them. And you're going to see some of that shit leaking out. I'm convinced, maybe before the files are even supposed to be released.
Yeah, it's and they're starting to play games with we're going to get the grand jury, so, and everyone's still. I mean, Brian Tyler Carnes talking to Mike Alliance, and you know what? At this point, that has done so much damage to him. He can't get out of it. Even
Right.
if they send it 30 days from now and they go, this is what we got, people are going to go bullshit. You're not going to be able to bullshit your way out of it. I'm not worried about it. Why? Because they're going to do something stupid. It's going to blow up in their face, and they're going to have to backtrack and actually come up with stuff. It's going to
Right.
happen. Or someone's going to leak, like you said, it's going to leak something. All right.
They already did that in the sense
Yeah.
that they said there's nothing here, nothing to investigate, no further cases to follow, and then they come out and said, "Oh, by the way, we've got some cases with Bill Clinton and such." They've already sent out mixed messages. They've already
Right.
contradicted themselves, so they've already been made to look like fools.
I mean, and was the vote, the good thing about the vote was showing that you could break Donald Trump's power over the
Yeah.
Republican Party. That's a good show. It might continue now. I think Rand Paul was talking to the Daily Beast, and he was saying another thing they could break out if they go to war in Venezuela. A lot of Republicans don't want to do this. War costs money, costs
Yeah.
lives,
Yep.
and I mean, it, and they're even. This is how fucked up these people are, incompetent. Do you remember in the budget thing that Mitch McConnell put in the ban on THC
Right.
because for the alcohol industry? Oh no, the House is trying to get that reversed because they put a year on it, and then it's going to happen before the midterms. Trust me, the younger generation is used to this. No, and also it's like billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Really, and that's the thing. This this is another thing when you have fucking old guys and old women running Congress and running the government. They don't see the forest for the trees, which brings us back to where the Democrats have to get rid of their leadership.
They
And
do. I agree.
I say this because you old guys still look at things in a bipartisan way. The millennials, the Xers, and the Zs see this as fuck that, we need to fight. And you keep and their argument is if we don't do what we normally do, we'll lose to the Republicans because they'll make us as communists or socialists and all that. No, no.
You know, I
Once you
I think
go ahead.
I think that that may have been the case when there wasn't that much difference between Democrats and Republicans. They're all trying to be centrist. But now the Republicans are way over here. So for us to go further left makes sense. We saw that after the Depression going into FDR.
Right,
There's a correction coming up, a big
right.
correction coming up because of how far right and how badly it's gone. Uh, these old people, I'll just put it to you this way, we followed what those old people, the establishment people, have wanted to do with Donald Trump starting back 10 years ago. How'd they do? They fucked
They
it up.
failed, and they had an opportunity to end him,
Yeah.
and the establishment couldn't do it because they didn't want to cause problems politically. You dumb its, you dumbasses. Joe Biden, you love the system so badly, you let him get away with it. Merrick Garland, you let him get away with it. Mitch McConnell, I understand because he was just trying to make a power play. That I
Right.
got. I mean, that's
Right.
so Mitch McConnell. It's ridiculous. But you let the idea of everyone can get along get in the way of what we needed to get done. Okay. Look at what happened in Brazil. That guy's gone. He's in jail.
Yeah.
Who tried it. And they didn't play around. They did it in a year. Same thing in South Korea. You're gone. He's in jail. They don't play with that. For some reason, we confuse politics with criminality, and this is where we're at. Now we have literally a criminal administration because everything they do is illegal. Everything they do is in violation of the Constitution, period. The Constitution is not even a guideline. It's a joke to them. All right. And they use it to justify their work, but it's not there. And that's the thing. And the only way we're going to get rid of it is to say, fuck bipartisanship. Okay.
Yeah.
Do what the Republicans have done and take as many seats as you can and run everything through over them and step on their heads, minority wise. Because that's the only way you're going to reestablish law, the word of law, the rule of law, and the Constitution, and rebuild the damage they did. Because there is no bipartisan with these people. They still talk the same shit, regardless.
Well, I think one of
Period.
the things that's becoming apparent, especially to the young people. Uh, I don't know that young people really care that much about Democrats or Republicans. It's just clubs, but they're finally coming to realize, everybody's coming to realize this is the wealthy versus the rest of us.
Yes.
When you look at the Epstein files, what are people mad about? Well, they got Ghislaine and they got Jeffrey, but there's a bunch of rich guys and rich women out there that got away with it simply because they were rich. They took care of themselves and the system took care of them and they get away with it. And I think people, the younger people, see the Democratic Party as kind of like that too.
Yes.
Bunch of rich people that can do whatever they want and fuck us. And that's pretty much true.
And condescending, too.
Yeah.
Condescending. That whole thing with the 8 senators, okay? Their reaction was condescending. The guy from Virginia, Thomas, I forgot the Virginia senator. He was
Massey?
condescending. Yeah, he was condescending. The New Hampshire senators were upset, got mad at people asking questions and calling him to task. Okay, because you know you're wrong. Chuck Schumer's testy about it. Why? Because it's going to cost them his leadership. They know their time's short. That's why now
Yeah.
they keep trying to say we can't primary Jeffries in the leadership now because we need them. No, you don't.
No, you
You
don't.
don't. They've been tested and they proved lacking. It's time to move on. Maybe it's not a Democrat or something. Maybe it's just someone who's younger and who can speak a better message, who's not tied to all these corporate. We can see it now. I mean, I saw it, you saw it, but our generation has been a lot of us been sullied by the so-called trickle down theory. People aren't buying that shit anymore. You
Yeah.
can't sell it anymore. And how did they hide it? Drag queens, transgender, Christianity. People hate Christians. Yeah, by the way, that's another thing that's come apart by one person. Look, guys, we see religion for what it is now.
Yeah.
And it's a grift. That's sad to say as someone who does believe in Jesus and God, but Jesus didn't run a grift. He didn't run a grift. He didn't
No.
make money. And like there's one pastor when in reaction to this, he said, "Why should we support single mothers and nothing but whores?" And the first thing that crossed my mind is one of the first people that came to Jesus and he accepted him was Mary Magdalene, who was a prostitute, who was
Yeah.
a whore. He accepted all of them. He accepted the downtrodden. He preached to them. He gave them grace. And you guys forgot, and we're not buying your bullshit. Yeah, every Sunday you'll stand up there and take people's money because they're dumb. But
Yeah.
little by little, you're losing your power because people realize we don't need you because you serve no purpose other than being a social club on Sundays for people.
Well,
And
that's pretty
trust
much
me,
it.
Go
They're a
ahead. I'm sorry.
middleman. They're a middleman. I've said this to before. I've argued with people. They say, "Are you a Christian?" I go, "Yeah, I think I'm a Christian." What church do you go to? I go, "I don't go to church." Well, you got to go to church if you're a Christian. And the way I look at it is this: I've been to a number of churches in my time in different denominations, and I've been disappointed in most of them as far as how they behave and where how money is the biggest factor and not what should be taught. And then I came to the realization that yeah, I don't need to go to a church to be a Christian. I mean, I think it says in the Bible that the only way to God, if you're a Christian, is through Jesus. Well, I don't
Right.
need to go to church to talk to Jesus or God or anything like that. And I look at churches, not all of them. I know there are some people that love their churches, and God bless them if they do, and they're good places because I'm sure there are plenty of them. But to me, if I have a minister, a priest, a preacher of some sort telling me what I should do and how I should do it, that means the Word of God is coming through uh, a human, a fallible human. So that's like to me getting water through a dirty pipe. Why would I
To an
take it
extent.
through a dirty pipe as opposed to just going to the spring and take it directly?
Yep. Exactly. But but that it's going to take a while, and we can see it little by little. You can see the drips starting to happen.
Yeah.
Now, we cannot not have our guard up because trust me, at the end of anything, it gets worse.
Yeah.
At the end of anything, he's going to do everything he can to stop it. But it's not right now. It doesn't seem to be working. Only for those of him who follow him, they're
Right.
downright believing everything he says. But a lot of people are starting to drift because they start to see this isn't what they wanted. They don't want this. They don't want this chaos. Chaos gets old and tiresome. All
Well, it
right.
is. People are getting worn out and fatigued by what's been going on for so long.
And so we're keep pushing. I think a lot of the protests, or people say, well, what good is protesting? It just reminds people that you're not alone and we can peacefully push back. How long that's going to last, I don't know. Um, but people are reminding other people that you have constitutional rights, that what they're saying is wrong, that your neighbor doesn't have to be persecuted, and there's laws against it. And it may take another year because the thing about it is our concentration should be on we have to flip the house at least.
Yeah.
We have to keep our eye on the prize. We can't be fearful of any kind of change in the Democratic leadership. We can't let that stop us. Because I'll be honest, if Hakeem Jeffries wins his primary, no one's going to vote for Republican.
Right.
No. I mean, I'm not. I'm not. Even though I have doubts about the Democratic, it's still going to be a better situation because then we can push them. Because the thing that's going to be more important than impeaching Donald Trump is impeding Donald Trump and the Republican Party. A Democratic Congress will start doing things that the Republican Congress did the last time. We're not going to pass legislation. We're going to investigate every inch of what they did, and we're
Right.
going to make them uncomfortable, and
Well,
we're
and you
going to
have to.
press it.
Well, and people will always say, well, if we get the House and the Senate, why don't we just pass a bunch of bills? Mainly because Donald Trump's got to sign off on it, and he's not
Right.
going to do that. So you have to resolve yourself to the fact that there isn't going to be a lot of legislation. So we got to make hay while the sun shines. So that's doing the investigations and exposing these people for the things they've done. What people don't understand, they think there's an answer where we can just flip a switch
Yes.
and we'll be fixed again. They've degraded this country and our government so badly. It's going to be a process, and it's going to take time when we take control. And you better be patient because it can't be fixed instantly. It's just not going to be. You can't do this much damage and expect it to just rebound in a minute. It's going to take time, it's going to take effort, and it's going to take patience.
Yeah. I
But we
mean,
need to get started on that road to end up any place good.
pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. And that's been the
Right.
problem with a lot of people opposing Republicans and uh, Trumpism. But I
Right.
will not give in to like this is all going to turn that he has some kind of master plan he's going to win. There was one creator who keeps saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to create this new independent party. She can't.
No.
She can't even keep a husband. How the fuck do you think she's going to do that?
Well,
Okay,
she knows she wasn't going to get reelected, and here's why.
right.
She knows the Democrats aren't going to vote for her, and now MAGA and the Republicans aren't going to vote for her because she went against Donald Trump. She's really got no support. All you have to do is get a Republican with a MAGA attitude or a normal Republican attitude, and they'll beat her.
Yeah.
She knows that. That's why she's running away.
But what I'm seeing is that everyone kind of misinterprets what's going on, and what I'm seeing is just an end of an old man's power that's been pretty solid.
Yeah.
Will we get the Epstein files? Who cares? I really think at this point, who cares? Because it kind of cracked a lot of stuff. You're seeing Republicans falling back on their old stuff, that it's not going to work. They're hoping
Right.
the economy fixes itself without them
Yeah.
making any effort on it. That's basically what it is. They want to make an effort on it. So they're going to concentrate on, there's a bill that was proposed in Congress to do all these immigration things like get rid of birthright citizenship and all that. It's not going to get out of the House. It wouldn't get past a freaking court. It wouldn't
Yeah.
even get past the Senate. But the point is, that's where they're at. They're falling back to what they know. And what they know is we got to just break everybody. We got to make everyone pissed off. And, again, when you're a creator and you show that, your next word should be, this is bullshit. This is all they got left. Not, we should be
Yeah.
scared of it. I don't
No.
hear that anymore. Same thing like, well, he says he's going to hang those people. He ain't going to do it. He's just talking shit. I don't want to hear, well, what if someone else, like Obama or Biden, they wouldn't have done it. Bush wouldn't have done it. Fucking relax. This is just show him, just say, hey, this is what he thinks of the Constitution. That he doesn't understand that soldiers take an oath to the Constitution, not to the presidency. This is on him. Ignore that. He can't do anything about it. But stop. That's what gets in the way. What we need to concentrate on is how do we give a message to people about the economy that's going to work for Democrats. We saw that little glimmer of hope earlier this month. We have to build on that. Don't let the Democratic leadership run in fear from it because their corporate donors said, we're not going to give you money. No, you're not going to get money from us. If that's where they're going to base their way on, they got to go. But understand, everyone, I keep seeing these things. Yeah, it's outrageous. It's been outrageous for 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
Okay?
This is nothing. I tell you what, if you were afraid of Donald Trump at any point in these 10 years, this is the time you should be least afraid of him because he's on the run. He's losing at every turn and he's spiraling out of control and will ultimately crash. We know how that's how this ends. It always ends that way.
And then with ICE is what's going on with ICE and the Department of Homeland Security cannot be continued. They can't. They have to go to the next levels, and people aren't going to go to those. They're not going to go to the next levels. What are you going to do? Martial law? They already tried military troops. Judges are throwing them out. National Guards is vanishing from the streets. Why? Because you can't maintain that. It's not working because Americans don't like that. They don't like ICE running around. They don't like people doing this. A few of them do because they get off on it. And the white supremacists are happy because they get to beat up a few people. But understand, guys, you got probably a year, maybe 8 months for this shit falls apart. And then you're going to be getting dragged into Congress of Kristi Noem, and they're not going to defend you. They're going to hang you out to dry. Oh, trust me, they're ready to hang you out to dry. And all of you who haven't been identified or have been identified are going to pay the price. All you private prisons who are running this shit, thinking you're going to get away with this, no, your time is coming too. It's going to be hard because a lot of people are going to suffer. But the
Do you
point
think
is,
they?
go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike.
Do you think they realize this? I mean, you
No,
and I realize how this is going to play out. Do they just not get it?
no, they think they're going to remember. Germany said they're going to have a Reich that lasted 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where they're at. These Christian nationalists, Russ Vought, Heritage Foundation, people running Stephen Miller think that they have the upper hand, that they're going to continue for years, that people will will accept it. That's
But
the
they
thing. That
can't
thing
see
that
what we
bugs.
can see.
No,
They can't see
because
what.
they believe that eventually, if they push hard enough, we're all going to say yes, sir, no, sir. Can we have some more, sir? I mean, that's the thing.
Wow.
You watch Stephen Miller, that little weasel. No, weasel. Oh God, ferret. He's something worse. But you hear him screaming. Why? Because he's frustrated. He's frustrated because no one's accepting what he goes, it's the right thing to me. I've been living my whole life like this. Why don't
Yeah.
you see what's going on? I'm doing this for you. And everyone's going, no, you little weirdo. You're not. And he hates it. You hear him every time. That is the yells of someone who can't understand why no one wants to do what he wants and they don't like him.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear it in their voices. Kristi Noem, same thing. She gets pushback, she freaks out. Same thing with the economic guys. People aren't accepting your shit. Now, is it good? No. Are people documenting all this? Yes, because they hate it. Trust me, they hate all these videos. That's why they have all this advertising now that Kristi Noem's getting a share of, showing that ICE is like this all powerful thing. It's propaganda. It's propaganda, before. But no one's buying the propaganda because we see the reality. The best thing about now, as opposed to like we were talking about Nuremberg or the rise of the Nazis, is that there was no filming of what they were doing in the streets to Jews.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the films of Kristallnacht, but what you got was the propaganda, the original Nuremberg rally with the torches. You had the propaganda about the Aryan race, the propaganda against Jews and gypsies and homosexuals. All that was easily manipulated because there was only one source.
Right.
Now you can't get around a camera. That's why they freak out when people are filming. That's why they stick weapons in their face. They don't want you to see it. And when
Right.
they get caught, even though they run, you can see in their eyes, they know they're fucked. That's why they wear the mask, because
Yeah.
you know you're fucked. You know it's coming for you. And that's the whole thing for this whole fucking regime. After 10 fucking years, you've outworn your welcome. And people are beginning to realize you're incompetent, you're tiresome, and also you're taking my money and I'm
Yeah.
getting nothing for it. And it's going to be, if we do it right and take with it what is ruined the Democratic Party for years, which is corporate donorship and people who are beholden to certain people, and we've pushed it all out, what we get back is our country.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will just want that. Not to go back. We can't go back to what it was. I don't want to go back to what it was. We get back our country. We reset to a new deal, to a new understanding of race between everyone. Because most people are okay with races.
Yeah.
We get it. The majority. It's the ones left over that keep doing this. And we're getting there. But this is going to be painful. This is going through, you know how they make corn puffs, right?
Yeah.
Cheetos and all that. You've heard the
Right.
concept of an extruder. It's
Right.
basically you take that cornmeal and you put it on heavy steam, and you push it through an extruder, and then it pops out as something new. dried in the air. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going through an extruder right now. It's
Yeah.
nasty. And hopefully we come out at the end as something even better. Poof.
Well,
And
that's the thing is we have the potential not only to we won't come out the other side the same as we were,
no.
but the prospects of coming out better after suffering some pain is pretty high because we've seen it
Right.
done in the past.
Yeah, because I don't believe in a lot of it is I don't believe that after all this that whatever MAGA is will remain. People keep saying no, they're always going to be free. No, they won't. You can't sustain that type of thing is going to go away. They'll be
MAGA
or
will
go
be
underground again.
right. That's exactly what they'll do. The people, the racists, the misogynists, the sexists, and the anti-Semites will always be there, but they'll be there like they were prior to Donald Trump and MAGA. They'll be hiding under rocks, grumbling to themselves, and being afraid to come out because it won't be acceptable by the normal public. They will still be there as they've always been there. They just won't come out and be have as much effectiveness on this country as they do now. They'll be hiding, essentially, is what they'll be
Yeah, like
doing.
they were under rocks. And when they
Right.
come out, we hit them, and it's basically whack-a-mole. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to tell everybody because the fun thing about when I did that live the other day, it was like everyone goes, "Well, where's Mike?" It was like the crew. But the point was like with everyone, what we're finding out is we're sticking together. We know we're realists. We know it's going to get worse before it gets better. But you also know that there is a way of getting around this if we look at both sides, Democrats and Republicans, as they both have to be fixed. And
Yeah.
most of the Democrats, Republicans, we have to shut them, let them do their own thing. They have to be pushed into a corner to figure out what they are anymore. But Democrats, we need to tell them, hey, you need to start listening to us
Well,
because now
I
it's
think the
about
difference.
money. Go ahead, sorry.
I think the difference between Republicans and Democrats, the Republicans just need to be burned down.
Right.
The Democrats need to be overhauled.
Exactly. That's a difference. It's a huge difference. Yeah, because basically the Republicans is kind of like with the Democrats, basically we need to do kind of put it in a weird way. We need knee replacements. It's
Yeah.
a bone on bone, and it's time to get some artificial knees, and so we can get up and running. I mean, that's
Yeah.
basically it. Replace the movement. Replace the movement with things that are more lubricated and will work. Literally, the Republicans are basically hardcore chemotherapy. You're going to have to burn it all out and
Yeah.
restart, and hopefully that you can get through this cancer tumor that you accepted and spread to the rest of us because we'll cut
Only
it
so
out and you have to deal with it.
and only so many will survive, and hopefully that's the better versions of the Republicans that do survive this.
Yeah,
I'm
and
going to
so
wrap up the Rational Boomer podcast. We could talk for hours. We
yeah,
always
we
do talk
that's what
for
we
hours.
do. All right, it's just
But
we're
this
just
week's gonna be
just
interesting, and Thanksgiving week and all that stuff. So there's some positive things to look forward to. But this shit show that we saw last week, I'm afraid it's going to get crazier this week.
oh, I don't know. Is Congress in session this week or are they home for the holiday? I think
They
they're home for the
probably aren't
holiday.
in such. I think they
Yeah, that's
probably are. Yeah.
I mean, and just a warning to everyone, just you're going to hear some crazy ass shit for the next few days. React
Yeah.
to it like you should. Oh, really? Okay. I mean, just ignore it or tell them it's full of shit. Just go, yeah, it's just shit. Just tell them, call them out for their lies. But don't get fucking crazy.
No.
Relax. He's going to say some, he's been saying some shit tonight. But I have
Yeah.
to look at him and go, damn. Because what the biggest thing we all have to remember is that if we do not give them what they want, which is our overreaction and our fear, we win. Ain't going to it's going to take a while, but we're still going to win in the end. So I think that's truth. Guys, you could find me Binder38 US on Substack. I have a paid subscription. If you want to join that, I would really appreciate it. YouTube, also Binder38 US on YouTube. Still TikTok, RJ12764 TikTok. I can still open it without seeing you have been destroyed. Haven't done that yet. If you want to reach out to me, my email is kumquat6@outlook.com. I'd love to hear from you. But thank you, Mike, for letting me start the week out this with us. You. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. And remember, if you burned a turkey, that's your fault.
Yeah. And if you want to, well, there's a joke going around. If you want to save money, have a big Thanksgiving dinner because the uncle and the aunt that are Trumplefucks will fuck it up and everybody leaves early.
I don't think they're going to be fun this year because you can basically going to make them squirm this year. It's going to be fun.
I don't think I'm going to be around any Trumplefucks this. Well, yeah, I will. But I will be around one at least that I know of. And I think he's been properly warned just to stay off the topic with me.
Yeah. I mean, what's he going to say? What you going to say?
Keep winning.
Yeah. I mean, are we winning yet? Is America great again?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, by the way, did you hear about Trump? And does he like horses? Just
horses.
Maybe you could tell me. Maybe you can tell me what's going on. I mean, just want to know. You seem to be.
I mean, I like horses too. Maybe not as much as
not
Donald
as
Trump
much.
likes horses.
Yeah.
Not as much. But you know, hey, to each his own.
So those of you who have to deal with those people, understand they're not going to be on the high horse this time. Not like the last one after the election. Oh no, this year. Oh, I know what you need to do. Ask them where my Doge check is.
Yeah.
Where's my $5,000?
And my tariff check.
And my tariff check.
And have the farmers got bailed out yet?
No. If you're in farm country in that area, just ask them how much soybeans have you sold this year. I got you. I mean, just a question. The point is, this year, as opposed to last year, which was miserable for all of us, this year is, how's this all working out for you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So we win.
I mean, I know some of the people that I know that are Trumplefucks are suffering because of some of the policies. So enjoy.
So welcome to our world and pass the gravy. Thank you. We're all good. All right.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Have a good holiday. Be safe. Stay out of trouble, y'all.
And for those of you listening, thanks for taking the time. I hope you have a great day. We will talk to you again tomorrow.